Hello my friends, I wanted to give you a walk around of the caboose. As you might have seen in the last video, I finished it up just a month or two ago and took the first trip and went to Michigan, Wisconsin, the Great Lakes, Lake Superior, and then back to Colorado. So I'm sure you're curious about how I built the caboose and what it looks like inside. So I'd like to give you a little bit of info about the caboose. First of all, it was built on a frame of a camper that we had had for a long time, from 1975. So I used the frame and the axles from that, took everything down, and then proceeded to build on top of the frame. It's all plywood construction, and I want to kind of show you how I built it. These are just 2x4s, and this is CDX plywood. And I used a lot of waterproofing, the same kind of waterproofing that you use in a shower. It's called Red Guard. And I put 3 coats over the plywood, and then it's got 3 coats of paint on top of that. It's nothing fancy, but with glue and screws, I think this thing should hold together for a long time. So let me show you some of the other things that I've done to it. I wanted it, in order for it to look like a caboose, it had to have a little porch on the front and back. So the one on the back's a little smaller than the one on the front. And then right here is where my electric cord comes out. And that came out of the old camper. The bumper came off the old camper. These are new lights, of course. I left the tanks, they were in good shape. Got a black water tank and a gray water tank, and they still work good. I need a new valve on them, make them a little easier to open. Use the wheels. These windows are Anderson fiberglass windows, so they kind of blew the budget right here on these, but I think it was worth every penny. So you're probably wondering, so what's up with the ramps? Well, when I designed this, I designed the front porch so that I could put my motorcycle on there and still have room to open the door and either ride the motorcycle off the front or off the left side or the right side. So I don't have any steps, but all you got to do is just walk right up the ramp. And here we are at the front door. Now the front door is out of the old camper, and I just couldn't bear to give up the front door out of the old camper, even though it's not in the greatest of shape. But something that about certain things, and I have a whole lot of nostalgia about this right here. That noise from years and years of opening the old camper. That door, the slamming of the door sounds exactly the same as it did in the old camper. And I can't bear to give that up. Plus I can have a screen if I want it, or it's got a window in it. You're probably wondering about how I built this out of plywood. And if you look real close, so there's just one piece of plywood up there. That's the roof right there. And on the inside, it's got beadboard and insulation. But out here, it's just my framing members. And what this is I took 2x and ripped them down into 3/8" pieces and glued them back together in a jig that I made in that shape. There's 21 of these in the roof. And they're I think they're like 2 1/4 inches thick. 21 of them, and they're glued and screwed into the edges. And talk about strong. I mean, this thing is strong. You could put 10 people on the roof and jump up and down and it wouldn't affect it. I still have to cover up my wires here. As you can see, I put my lighting in, and I've got to build, I still got a lot of work to do, but I got to build some covers for that. That's for my lighting. And I got a porch light right there. So come on in. This is it. This is my domain. Now, I'm going to be a little apologetic that it's very masculine in here. I did my own decorating. So Julie is okay with it, but it is a little masculine. I'm not ashamed of it, but you know, today's forecast, I wish it was warm because it's not very warm today with occasional beers. This kind of just reflects me. But anyway, who needs cabinets when you've got beer boxes, right? And it's awesome. You know what I use these for? I put like, I got books in there, you know. Use that for all my miscellaneous. Then I got a little shelf up here that I can put, I got keys and whatnot up there. But check out these windows. Aren't those windows the most awesome thing? And look over here this side. So my cabinets, I built my cabinets. This was an elm tree that was on the property, and I cut it down, and I see that saw right there. That's an elm log that's on that one right there that I haven't cut up, but I made all the cabinet framing out of elm that's kind of like halfway sawed and sanded and then finished. And then this hardware, I know you're thinking that is awesome hardware. That came out of the old camper, and I just painted them up. They were kind of gold and white, and then I just repainted them and put them back on. Then I made the doors. A lot of the hardware is out of the old camper. But, you know, sugar in there. And my vitamins, you know. You got to have vitamins when you go camping. Those wires right there, they're going up to the solar panels on top. I still got some wiring to do yet. I do have the electric, the 110 done, but I've got my lights in here to finish up and my switches. I think I'm going to put some switches right here for, see, I got some wires that I haven't finished up yet. The switch is going to be for the outside lights. Inside lights are all going to go right here. So here, multifunctional open space. I'm a little too practical, but right there's my solar that my son helped me get all fixed up. And I used a 6-gallon bucket for my trash. I built all my drawers. So if you're wondering how I built these drawers, so here's my stove. My Coleman stove fits in there perfect. Didn't even plan that, but that's what I cook on. But these babies are just plywood, and then I put a magnet. Let's see if I can take one out and show you. I put a magnet right there, and then one in the back. And it works pretty good because they can't come out any further than that. And on our whole trip, I think maybe once I had one of them come out a little bit, slide out a little bit, because we went on a really rough road, but they stayed in there. And I got my buddy heater under there. You can see I've already winterized the P-trap right there. My plumbing. Got one of those nice composite sinks. Nice faucet. And here's my cooler. Right now I'm just running off of a cooler. I'd like to get a Dometic fridge, 12 volt, and put in there. I made that space. Right, this space it's 20 inches wide, so I could either put a dorm fridge, a full height dorm fridge in there, or I can have my coolers. And so my plumbing and my wiring is back here. I'll probably cover that up with something. And then for now, I think I'm just going to leave it with chairs, because it worked out pretty good. I can take the chairs in and out, but if we take the grandkids anywhere, I can just throw another mattress down on the floor and have a couple kids sleep right here, and then we'll just fold it up, put it on the other mattresses right there if we want to. And I got to make me a table. I haven't figured out exactly if I want to have a folding table or what. This table's nice because we can take it outside, set up outside if we want. All right, so that's the kitchen, living room. Kitchen, living room. Now into the bedroom. So, got 2 full twin mattresses in here. And I guess I wanted to be able to sleep well. And most camper mattresses don't. So, I put real mattresses in here with a foam topper. And then, of course, we got to have place for your clothes. So this is my side. And see, I put my socks in this one, my underwear in this one, you know, maybe my slippers, my shirts. Gotta have clothing storage. And of course, Julie's side's a little different. You know, she's not going to use Coors boxes, but I'm fine with it. You can see I just use paneling. My walls are just 3/4 inch thick plywood that I bought at Home Depot. My ceiling is just that little beadboard product that you can buy, painted up real nice. Oh, and I've got 3 fans. I went with the Max fans. Oh, these things are awesome, aren't they? Let's see. Those are running off the battery. But I got 3. I got 1 in here so that, you know, when I'm cooking on the stove, when I put the stove right here, it'll pull out all the steam from making boiling water or frying up something. And then I've got another one back here in the bathroom. So I hope there's enough light for you to see back here. But let's look over here on this side. Oh, the toilet. Yeah, I used the toilet out of the old camper, but then I made this shower and made my rod, the shower curtain. I made it so the shower curtain kind of comes out a little bit, so you have more room to wash your hair. And then my faucet is just out of copper pipe. Oh, I should put this back up there. There we go. Then behind the toilet I got some storage, you know, for toilet paper and whatnot. And a trash can, a little sink. And then miscellaneous storage. You can see I still got wires sticking out everywhere. And my mirror. How's that? See, I need to put some more lighting in here. I've got wires up there in the ceiling. I know where they're at. So this is my idea for a door. I haven't quite figured out. I think I'm good with it because all I need is a little privacy. But doors just get in the way. That's the problem. No matter where you put it, it's in the way. And so I'm just going to either go with the barn door or just make me a nice curtain in here yet. Alright, so for my water tank, it's underneath, it's right over the wheels, and it's this black one right here. There's my wheel wells, and I made my wheel wells all out of plywood, and I gave them a pretty good test on the trip because I had a blowout and no damage whatsoever. They're insulated, 2 layers of plywood with insulation, in between them, and then it has waterproofing all the way on all sides of it too. And then my pump is in here, and then it just gives me lots of storage. That's my fill. My fill for my tank is right here, and then I just fold that down. And then this one, I have room for storage underneath this side, but all my pipes are running underneath this side. Oh, I gotta show you. Move my clothes out of the way. Alright, so I gotta show you under here kind of the mechanics of things. So under here, that's the breaker box out of the old camper. I just reused it, and then all my plumbing is inside, so it's out of the elements in case it gets really cold at night, except for my tanks, of course. This piece just folds down like that. Put the dirty clothes hamper back on there. This window is out of the old camper. The only window I use. It's a single pane window. It did sweat a lot on cold nights, but it and the front door made out of aluminum. But I was really happy with this thing in cold weather, because the walls, just so you know how I built the walls, this is right here, that is the support structure for this whole thing. They're all on the outside, right? All on the outside. Then there's a 1/2 inch plywood, and then on the other side of the 1/2 inch plywood, I glued 1/2 inch foam insulation, and then I glued my paneling. So here I got beadboard, here just cheap paneling, kind of cool looking. And then my backsplash is just, this is plywood here. And then my backsplash is removable. So if I want to change up the look, then all I gotta do is take a few screws off. And then I can put different signs on here, because they make all these signs in the same size. And then they're easy to clean in case you spill something on them. And if I want to change my decor, it just take a few screws out. Maybe I'm too practical. So I'll show you my front. I got me a nice weight distribution hitch. Sorry about the wind. We'll climb up on top. Probably wondering what I did for the roof. Well, it's just 1/2 inch plywood, but it's got 3 coats of waterproofing and then 4 coats of Henry's elastomeric roof coating with fabric in it. Here. I'll show you these little LED lights. And I got a video on my truck. If you're interested in my truck, you'll have to look that one up. It's called Can Your Truck Pull a Caboose?